All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Omar Harris. This will be my second upload today. So what I want to do is that I want to give a book review of uh, of the first, I want to say maybe third of this book right here. It's called The 33 Strategies of War, and the author of this is Robert Greene. As some of you guys already know, he is the author of books like The 48 Laws of Power, The Laws of Human Nature, and The Art of Mastery. So this is actually my fourth book that I'm reading from my Robert Greene collection. So what I want to do is that I think I got up to chapter 11 from the book so far. So what I want to do is I just want to give a book review for the first third of the book. There were three chapters that within those first 10 chapters that I read that I found the most interesting. So the first chapter will be chapter 4 when it talks about creating the sense of urgency. The next one will be chapter 7 where it talks about transforming a war into a crusade, and it kind of has like a moral aspect to it, right? And then then the last chapter I want to discuss would be chapter 10, where it talks about creating a threatening presence. So one thing, just to give like a background of this book, when it talks, the book title is called The 33 Strategies of War. I'm sure that you guys know that life is not easy. There are going to be all different types of obstacles. There are going to be um, there's everything is a competition, whether it be for mating in a dating scene, relationships, whether it be for jobs, whether it be trying to compete to get resources. Everything is a competition. Life is not always going to be easy. You're going to go through some obstacles, and you're going to have some failures along the way. And along with that, you're going to come across people that you're not going to like, that's going to hate you, that's not going to like you, that's going to hate you, and may try to take you down. So wouldn't you say it'll be a good idea to at least be aware of what you want to be going through in this life and how you can better prepare and maybe have some strategy as to how you can maneuver life, because life is not going to be easy at all. Even in a spiritual sense, your flesh is always warned against your spirit. Your spirit is those things that the right things that you should do, the things that you should do, the choices that you should make. But your flesh is constantly battling with your spirit, because your flesh is all your desires. And we know that as human beings, everything that we want may not be necessarily good for us. So there's going to always some type of conflict, some type of struggle, some type of battle that's going on, whether it's in within us or all around us. Now, the chapter 4 talks about creating a sense of urgency, where it talks about how sometimes you got to have like me. It's going to be me against the world. My back is against the wall, and I'm not taking no prisoners type of approach. There were two examples that he gave in that chapter. One was this old baseball player named Ted Williams. Ted Williams was known for a guy that plays angry, that plays with a chip on his shoulder. And and he was somebody that when the more angry he was, the better he played and the more that his team won. So he was somebody who would oftentimes hear a lot of negative things, negative press from the media. They talking about how they can't stand him. They wish him they don't they wish him harm. They want to see him fail. So he would use that as added fire to get him mentally motivated, to get him ready to go out there and perform, and he ends up performing at his best. This is something that's often talked about with a lot of athletes today. People like the greats, a lot of the greats. Michael Jordan always had a chip on his shoulder, and that was a way that he can motivate himself to get him to play at a level that he wanted to meet. Because after a while, winning championships and getting this accolade, this award, it gets so boring to where he can. It's easy to get into the go. It's easy to kind of like go through the motions, and you don't really have that extra edge that you need. So that was something that he created. So that extra edge you need. Same thing with Tom Brady being drafted in the 6th round. He felt disrespected. He felt like people thought he wasn't good enough. And then 20 years later, he has 10 Super Bowl appearances and 7 rings. So that was one story that they included. Another one was Napoleon. You guys are familiar with the General Napoleon. It, it's talked about in every history class of how he was never satisfied. Having a never, I'm always hungry. I'm never satisfied with any past success. So he would constantly go on one campaign after another, trying to conquer and trying to make his mark wherever he went. If there was some type of struggle there, or things didn't go quite well, he would always make the adjustment, get back on the trail, and go up and go after another campaign. He was never satisfied. He was somebody that never rested on his laurels because he was always striving for more. So those are the main takeaways I got from chapter 4. Chapter 7 talks about transforming the war into the crusade, where you're using a moral strategy to where and this is more based on, I want to say, a team concept or a team approach, right? Now, one of the examples they gave was the Hall of Fame coach Vince Lombardi that used to coach the Green Bay Packers back in the late 50s going into the 60s. So prior to him arriving, the Green Bay Packers, they were just absolutely horrible. They was a laughing stock of the league. And in comes Vince Lombardi. And his whole mindset was that I'm going to breathe life into this team to where we're going to be playing better. So there were certain things that he would do when he would go and talk to the team, even though this was a losing franchise that had players that would complain about how much they sucked, he would talk as if they were winners already, just so he could get their mind right. He would speak and he would ooze with confidence, and that would kind of rub off to the players. Another tactic or technique that he did was that he would make practices more intense, where they had to pay attention to every little detail. Everything was intense, everything was fast, and everything was attention to detail. Even though the practice was shorter, even though they were doing a lot of even though they was doing like a lot of the same things over and over, that repetition built up that muscle memory. So when they got into the game, they were just going to react off instinct. But so he made the practices much shorter, but they was much more intense. So then when it came down time for them to get ready to go into the game, everything would be automatic. Also, he treated everybody equally. There was no such thing as prima donnas on the team. There was no such thing as superstars. And the reason being is because a lot of the times, as we see in today's pro sports, a lot of your prima donnas and superstars, they act like they're above the law. They think they can get away with certain things just because they're the most talented people that's on the team, or they're getting paid the most money. But Vince Lombardi, he treated everybody equally. I'm gonna treat all y'all like dogs. So whether you're the star player, whether you're person on the bench, I'm gonna lash out on any one of you if y'all don't get in with the program. And lo and behold, the first season he was there, they went 7-5. The next season they went I believe it was like the NFC Championship game, and then the year after that they won the Super Bowl. So he was able to turn a 1-10 franchise into a Super Bowl championship team 3 years later, based off the techniques that he would use. So that was one of the main takeaways I got from chapter 7. Now, the last chapter I'm about to discuss will be chapter 10, where it says create a threatening presence. Creating a threatening presence. One of the techniques that was talked about in this chapter was the whole idea of reverse intimidation. Now, I want y'all to think, especially especially in this world, we come across people who are more aggressive than us, who are more forceful, who are more angry than us, and willing to crash out and do crazy stuff in order to intimidate us or try to inflict harm on us. So we know that we're not going to always be the biggest, baddest person that's in the room or that's in that environment. So this whole concept of reverse intimidation is that those people who are the aggressors, those people that are hotheads, those people that like to crash out, what you want to do is that you want to give off some type of vibe of they need to think twice before they step to you. That could be anything from making some type of bold maneuver, doing something bold, something spontaneous, out of the ordinary that's going to get their attention. That may be something like creating a threatening presence, or creating some type of a mystique or aura about you to where people can't really figure you out. So all that goes into the reverse intimidation tactic to where you're putting off some type of vibe to where those aggressors are going to think twice before attacking you. Think about it from like a middle school, high school standpoint. A lot of the times, the kids that get bullied are usually the ones that's overweight, those who are really short, or those who are really, I would say, like maybe like very meek and very quiet and timid. Those are the kids that get picked on the most. So what you can do as far as to where you're not getting picked on as much or at all is that you can start dressing up more edgier. You can start, especially when you get to high school, you can start lifting weights, putting on some muscle, so that way that your physique alone will let people know, like, hey, I can hold my own. Or you get to be one of those type of people where you start developing a sharp, quick mouthpiece to where somebody says something crazy, you able to kind of snap one right back off to them. And they're like, whoa, wait a minute, I wasn't expecting that. So there's all type of things that you can do to create more of a threatening presence. So those are, I would say, the main takeaways I got from the first 10 chapters of the book. So what I do is that for the next video, I'll plan on reading another 10 chapters, and then boom, I'm gonna hit you guys with another book review based on those next set of chapters. All right. So y'all like, comment, subscribe, and y'all let me know what y'all think of the video. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.